I'm Saracene. I was YN2. It's a E5. I got orders to be advanced party in October of '68 to go over to Vietnam. We arrived in Vietnam. There was 18 of us. They had no place to put us, so we slept outside in Da Nang at the other side of the air base, over by the morgue. So we were outside for 4 days, and I said, "Gee, I didn't think it was going to be this bad." That's a good start. And so then we got shipped up to. Actually, it was Camp Haines that was just finished being built, and then I was stationed as liaison with the 1st Air Cavalry, and my job was to inform them what they were doing as far as what projects needed to be done, and then relaying it back to the battalion. So I stayed with them for 6 weeks. Lived with the Army. It was a little bit different tradition. Normally we're stationed with Marines over there. Did the training, and then I was second in charge at an S2 division. What we did was we watched out for the perimeter, made sure everybody was awake at night on their watches, made sure people made it back to camp. A couple of guys in that S2 headquarters looked into indigenous labor. At that time we had to hire civilians to clean ups around the camps and work the clubs and things like that. I was asked to do some courier duty, or courier duty, is it pronounced right? I traveled to Quang Tri, Saigon, Phu Bai, Phuket, a lot of places in Vietnam. Spent time in Da Nang, and sometimes I was out there all by myself, and sometimes it wasn't so bad because other CB groups would take me in, or Air Force group would take me in and stuff, so I wasn't always an orphan, but there was times it was kind of scary. The closest, never came to any real, I guess you would call action, and people I told were more of a support group. But the CB teams did see, they were very, in fact we lost a CB over there that was on a CB in An Loc. But we did get hit by mortar fire, and I spent a couple days in a bunker up there at Camp Haines. The Army went out and did their patrols, and they got hit outside of the camp one time. And then I was in An Loc, and we got mortar fire came in. So it was about the closest I've had. Any real, we were trained that way. The most interesting part was in Saigon. Now, I'm very fortunate. I didn't take pictures, but I took movies. I've got movies on VHS that I've got to get transferred over to DVDs and let the people, I got pictures of Saigon, fast moving as it was. I'm wearing a watch here that I bought on the streets of Saigon in 1968 that I'm kind of proud of. When I went to get it fixed, the crystal got scratched up and broken, and I went to a watch repair shop in Cleveland, Ohio after I got out of the service. That's where I moved to. And the watchmaker there said, he said, "Son, you don't want to have me fix it, because all the watches now have plastic parts. You send that back to Seiko, and they will put the original steel parts back." And that's what it does. And I just can't believe I paid $25 for a 23 jewel watch. It's worth about, what, $5 today for it is on there. The band is, new, but keeping that. And I brought back a lot of, like I said, I was in S2 division, so we had a chief of one of the villages that was playing both ends from the middle, and we found out about that. I was able to get, I have, in my collection, I have coupons, communist coupons that they would give to the people in the village so they get rice off of the communists when they would come in and take over. Because we didn't know whether the indigenous labor were with us by day and against us by night or anything else like that. I taped USA radio over there. I've got that on 7-inch reel because the radio station was done out of Quang Tri, all underground and that. We didn't do much played a lot of volleyball. And we used to do volleyball. It was us against the Vietnamese. It was kind of nice. It was a camaraderie there too going on. I remember being headquarters company. We had our own little circle of huts. So we all hang around with each other. And like I said, I knew most of the guys from the other departments, basically from the training and stuff. I did get to work for a couple of communications technicians that their job was to wire the base, and I always thought I admired them for slapping on those leggings, those spike leggings, and climbing up those poles. And I told them I wanted to do that. Well, they enlisted me because they needed some extra help out there. I did it for one day, and that's the last time I wanted that again. My legs felt so sore. I never said a word about them again, about as far as, oh, you guys have got a cake job, just all you do is just go up there and wire this stuff. Because once you're on there, you're doing that stuff. So it was very interesting. I remember calling home to my girlfriend, well, became my wife eventually, but calling home using the Mars station and, saying, I love you, over. And then, you had to relay that. And usually we usually got there about 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning. There was a whole line of guys, and they gave you 5 to 7 minutes on the phone. And then you had to hope that was, but it was relayed by ham to California, then California to back to Cleveland. So that was a fun thing to wait for it was either Wednesday or Thursday night. I can't remember the exact nights and that there. In the huts were nice. We had like our own little area that we had with our locker full of stuff, but we had to be careful if we didn't close down the shade during the day. If those helicopters landed anywhere near us, we came back to a bed full of sand. Forever to get that out. We slept on. Oh, it was terrible on there. And at night, you listen to the 105s go off, and those things would echo through that valley like there was no tomorrow. And you don't realize how loud they are. And we were miles away from them. And but I got to know we used to play cards with some of the Army guys. Used to come over and play cards and stuff. And then a part of the deployment, Hamburger Hill came out back in '69. When that went on, we lost a couple of guys. We used to play cards with a couple of guys were lost up there, the Army guys. So it was interesting. The fact that we kept the camaraderie going good. Like I said, the officers were pretty lenient as far as what we could do and that there. We had, I remember having the Navy birthday off, but then we had to work on all the other holidays. Like, we were going to work half a day, and a big joke was half a day, 12 hours. So it didn't really, it was hot. Got up to 125 degrees a couple days in a row, and then it stayed to 100, 110, 115. The monsoon rain season came, and then it was like everything was like, you're either dry or you're really muddy. Traveling a couple times. One time coming back from Da Nang. Well, I used to hitch rides. I used to go over there if they wanted me to go anyplace. I'd go to the Army and say, "Hey Sarge, I need a ride down to Da Nang." He would say, "What are you going to bring me back from Freedom Hill?" Because the Navy, we were allowed to have alcohol. And that was a big, as long as we didn't have open containers in the barracks itself, they didn't mind us. But we just, the Army were always asking us for alcohol. So it was easy to hitch a ride and where to go. The scary part was getting on the helicopters that they knew or not. I was 21, 22 at the time. Getting on there and having those helicopters fly sideways, and you're looking right straight down, and all you've got is a belt holding you in. And they'd go right above the treetops, and then, just to scare the bejesus out of you. I learned a little game, and I used to say to them before I get on board, I'd say, "Come on, guys." And then a lot of my movies were taken from helicopters. Not on the Hueys, but on the Chinooks, and then I got campaigns, a full view of that, and also Camp Evans. Because when the 1st Air Cav left us, and incidentally, they burnt down their whole camp. They don't leave stuff. The Army just does it for any other group cover. They got a funny situation there, but they burnt down the whole camp, so they're going to build it and build it back themselves. But I went to Camp Evans, and I was stationed with them for a while, Screaming Eagles. Our battalion was basically known for our CB teams, and also in a way they dug up the graves, the mass graves. They were rebuilding the bridges when they discovered 20, 30,000 people massacred. And I got to go there and visualize. I didn't see the bodies per se, but I talked to guys that did and watched it. They just tried to do a lot of rebuilding, because after Tet, that place was chopped up pretty bad. It was, and right on the river there, and it was a different thing.